Otakon 2015, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Otakon was an anime convention held from July 24th to 26, 2015 at the Baltimore Convention Center in Baltimore, Maryland. This is my 9th year attending Otakon, and it ended up being a rather interesting year for a couple reasons. One of them being I was an encore panelist this year. I did have a panel at Otakon, so that affected some of my experience. But let's move on and see what the good was. For the good, there were more food options this year. They put up a few more food stands. They offered a cheesesteak, which was something different. I know a lot of attendees don't like to pay the convention center food prices, but it was convenient. There was also more security this year, which I was entirely fine with. You could definitely tell Otakon paid for more convention center security. They were all over the convention in addition to Otakon's staff, and I think that was a very nice addition because it definitely would make people feel more safe. You could definitely tell there were less attendees this year, and I don't think that was a bad thing for the average attendee, though it might not be so good for the finances of the convention. This was the first time since 2007-2008 I could say you could move around all days of the convention, get where you were going. There was no jam-ups on the Hilton Skybridge this year that were really terrible. Friday was scarily empty at times. You could just move around and get places. When the attendance was hitting 34,000, it got really hard to move around the Baltimore Convention Center. This year, not so much. You could get where you're going and get to panels. It was just a very different experience. What was bad this year was the pre-registration line, again. They ran into issues where people could not get their badges in a timely manner. My experience as a panelist was I got to the lobby, they checked my name, they merged me into the line with others. Now, I'm talking to my other co-panelists, and it kind of came up that we were there only for an hour. People around us were there for 4 hours. It makes you feel like a real ass when you were complaining you were there for an hour, when all these people around you were there for a much longer time. They need to fix this issue. They need to fix it now. I realize it sounds like it was a computer issue, what screwed it up, but you can't do this. This is hurting Otakon's reputation. For the ugly, what should have been better? Not all the additional food options were great. I had a gyro in the game room that was downright terrible. Also, I saw the sausage they were serving. I would not have ate that, period. That didn't look like good sausage. Now, the loss of attendance undoubtedly hurt the cosplay of the convention. I definitely saw less unique cosplay this year. I think you were missing some of the gems that you'd normally find at a convention like this. Was there good cosplay? Absolutely. But I think this loss hurt some of the additional unique cosplays you would have seen. They need to fix their 18+ wristband system. It's a joke right now. I had to wait in line a half hour. I know people waited more than me. I know people waited less than me. But why not just go to a plastic, hard wristband you could wear the whole weekend that proves you're 18+? The line is too long. When I'm standing in that line waiting for my 18+ wristband, I'm not spending money. I'm not enjoying the convention. What's the point? I thought the industry announcements were lackluster at Otakon. Now, maybe it's a thing of the past, but I like to see good industry announcements when I'm at a con of this size. Viz could have skipped the con. They brought nothing to the table. Funimation almost was in a similar situation. Then they announced Speed Racer. Who would have thought they brought Speed Racer? No one thought that. It was amazing. Speed Racer was a cool announcement. I also would have liked to attend Discotheque's panel, but having it on a Sunday was a pretty terrible time. Everybody's leaving. So, overall, industry left me wanting more. I attended very few cosplay photo shoots this year at Otakon. Since Otakon's taken over the official booking of certain areas, I feel that the variety suffered, and you saw it this year. Even with the unofficial shoots, some of which were not terribly well organized, I still feel that you just didn't see a depth in photo shoots. This was the first time I stayed at the Baltimore Hilton. I reserved through the room block and ran into an issue. Got there and there were no doubles. I definitely had a double booked. So I ended up talking to the hotel block people during the con. They gave me some strategies to hopefully solve that problem next year. But it was kind of irritating that I had 4 people in the room and 1 person got stuck on the floor. The Hilton was nice enough to get us a rollaway, but still that person should not have had to be on the floor when I had the reservation for a double. Overall, we know Otakon suffered a serious attendance downturn. In 2014, they had almost 34,000 paid attendees with 35,000 warm bodies. In 2015, as of the recording of this video, there was an estimated 28,000 paid attendees, so warm bodies will be somewhere in the 29,000 range. We know the downturn was caused by a variety of issues, including the Baltimore riots, the badge price increase of $10, Linecon last year, and a lot of people were on vacation, which surprised me as a reason. With these less people being there, movement was a lot easier in the convention center. It was a pleasant surprise. But I think the bigger problem overall was Otakon showed almost no improvement. I couldn't tell you where the additional $10 they charged us went. There was not $10 more convention. Really, nothing more was brought to the table, and I can see why a lot of people skipped the convention this year. I also think you have a lot of people waiting for the move to Washington to see what happens with Otakon. I'm going to give the convention a B-. There just isn't anything to give them a better grade. Thanks for watching.